Hello and welcome to Cole's Place. My name's Colin. Great to have you along and thanks for tuning in to another fantastic video. Hope everybody's well. How are we doing? Okay, first of all, before I tell you what we're going to be doing in today's video, just a quick thanks for tuning in, as I say, and a big welcome to the new subscribers. If it's your first time on the channel, my name's Colin. I'm based in Bournemouth, and if you've not done so already, why don't you subscribe? It's free to do so. Okay, so just hit the subscribe button, and there's a little bell you can hit as well. That will tell you when I'm putting up new videos. And this and any other video you watch, hit the thumbs up, because it helps push the video out there on YouTube and helps get it noticed. So do that for me, and I'll love you forever. Okay, so today's video, what we're going to be doing. Okay, well, first of all, a little bit of sad news. Not too sad, but sad nonetheless. Okay, check this out. It's me chopping board. Yeah, it's an old one, Old Faithful, right? And it's got to go because two reasons. One, it's got a massive crack in it. See it there by my finger? And it's getting bigger and bigger. And it's got a big pan burn on it, a big scorch mark. And the other reason is I've been told, I don't know how true this is, comments down below if you know, when a chopping board gets to about 2 or 3 years old, you're meant to get rid of them anyway, because especially wood ones, because they harbour all sorts of nasty things. So I bought this one in lockdown, and so it's time for it to go anyway. So I'm going to take you with me to get a new chopping board. But before you all switch off and go, not going shopping, right? That's not the only reason for the video, okay? No. I'm not just going to drag you around the shops. I've got a massive question that I want to ask you all, okay? So every single viewer of the channel, got a big question. I'm going to ask you the question, and I'm going to ask you reasons and your opinions on it, okay? So we'll have a bit of a chat and a bit of discussion. Bit of fun along the way as well. I'll show you a little bit of Bournemouth. It's a beautiful day out. It's, according to my finger and the thing on the phone, it's 18 degrees, which for the first week in October isn't too bad at all. Okay, it's not too bad at all. And apparently it's going to get warmer towards the weekend. So yeah, sun's out. So we'll get in the car and we'll hit the shops. So, as I say, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, sit back, grab yourselves a drink, okay? Chill out, and let's go and hit them shops. I'll catch you in a bit. Nice up here, isn't it? I'm on Bournemouth's East Cliff. Absolutely beautiful. The sun's out just about, and when the sun does come out, to tell you, there's a bit of a breeze, and I know it says 18 on the phone, but it feels like about 22. I can feel a bit of catching the sun here. Absolutely stunning. I thought I'd bring you this way to start the video, just to show you a bit of sunshine, or what sunshine there is, and a little bit of scenery as well. So I hope you enjoy that. Okay, so the big question that I'm going to ask you, and I want you to have a think about it, and I want you to put your comments down below and tell me what your answer is, okay? It's quite simple, right? Here's the question. Cash or card? That is it. Cash or card? Which do you prefer to use and why? Okay, that's not really a question, is it? There's about 2 or 3 questions there, but you get the drift. Which do you prefer to use on a day-to-day basis and why? So I'm not interested. I know on the internet there's loads of conspiracy theories about the government's trying to force us to use cards. That isn't what I'm interested in. There's 1,000,001 other websites and chat forums you can go to discuss all that. If you go down sort of that route, you're not getting what I'm asking. I'm just on about day-to-day basis. If you nip out on your lunch break and get a meal deal, if you pull up at a garage for petrol, in the pub for a pint, paying for tickets, whatever, right? What do you normally use? What do you prefer to use? And why do you use that method of payment? Okay, now the reason I'm asking this was because I was reading an article this morning, and basically it stated that the UK banking trade body called UK Finance has reported that using cash as a method of payment has risen for the first time in over a decade. Last year, in 2022, 6.4 billion payments were made by using cash, which is a rise of 7% on the previous year. Now then, that got me wondering, why? Why has there been that rise? What are we doing? Are we going back to preferring cash? Are people watching the money and preferring to use cash because it's easier to manage? You can keep track of your payments. Are people haven't got as much money to spend and they're keeping an eye on what they're spending and how they're spending it? Another theory is the year before, 2020 to 21, okay, that was the COVID year. So we were all at home. We were shopping online, doing much more online. Everywhere was shut. So we couldn't actually physically spend cash. But 6.4 billion payments is a lot of payments. 7% is a massive rise. So my question to you guys is quite simply, what do you prefer? What do you use on a daily basis and why? Is it cash or is it card? Have a think about it. Put your comments down below. We're going to hit the shops. When we get there, I'll tell you what I think and what my preferences are and why. Don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit the little bell and share. Okay, I'll see you when we get to the shops. Couple of things before I start driving. I got told off the other day, apparently in one of my videos somewhere, I was sat there without a seatbelt on. I wasn't driving, I was sat there. Didn't know that was illegal, but I always wear a seatbelt. So there's my seatbelt, I'm just about to drive off. Second thing is this, I've just had a bit of a mental block. I'm going to buy a chopping board. Where on earth do you get a chopping board from? The supermarkets sell them. Can't remember where I got the last one from. As I say, it was in lockdown. So it must have been fairly local, but I honestly can't remember. Yeah, where'd you get a chopping board from? Supermarkets, or have I got to go to one of them expensive kitchenware shop places? Probably spend about 40 quid on what is essentially a piece of polished wood. Ugh. I don't know, I'll do a bit of Googling. Anyway, I'll catch you at the shops. Seatbelt on, gonna set off. I've arrived here at Castlepoint, which is an out-of-town sort of retail park, just a couple of miles outside of Bournemouth. Now, when I left the cliff top, I drove through the town centre just to get an idea of what, you know, where I could get this chopping board and a few other bits I need. And I don't know what your town or city centre's like, but Bournemouth is hopeless. We've got no shops there at all. There's not even an Argos. So yeah, I've come here at Castlepoint. Couple of reasons why. Firstly, choice of shops. There's an Asda, Marks and Spencer's, there's a Robert Dias, there's a TK Maxx, Sainsbury's, B&Q, you name it, there's loads here. Second thing, I get 4 hours free parking, I'm going to pay parking. And thirdly, most importantly, Safi school is about 2 minutes that way. So once I've done my shopping, I can go and pick Safi up. Anyway, let's have a look around, I'll show you what shops are here. retail park over the road with like a Curry's and a B&M and Aldi and all that as well, and it's near Saf School, so hopefully I'll find what I'm after here, so we'll have a look around in a minute. Before we go in the shops, don't forget the big question, comments down below, cash or card, what do you prefer to use and why? Okay, so earlier we mentioned people might prefer cash because it's more manageable, they're watching what they spend, but some people might prefer card because they get paid into the bank and they don't have cash with them anymore. Saves going to Castlepoint. Let me know what your preference is and why. Okay, another thing I'm going to throw at you, is it an age thing? I've noticed when you go in bars and pubs in Bournemouth and restaurants, it's mainly in the service industry, younger people who serve you, and they automatically present you with a card machine for you to tap with your phone for Apple Pay or whatever, or to hit with your debit card. When you give them a tenner to pay for a drink, they, a little bit of hesitance. And on the other side of it, when you're in a queue in a supermarket and there's an older person in front of you, you know, a senior citizen, they always bring out a purse or wallet, and most of the time they've got cash and they count out the cash because it's what they're used to doing, you know, for years. Don't forget Apple Pay and debit cards, recent invention. But anyway, think on, what do you prefer? Let me know, comments down below. Let's go and have a look in a few of these shops. Gotta be honest with you, I didn't fancy any of those in Asda. They were a bit flimsy, and I want something that won't sort of break if I drop it on the floor. Anyway, listen, cash versus card, keep thinking, put your comments down below. I've just seen a friend of mine, Sam, who's a taxi driver, and I told him about the video and I said, what do you prefer? And he said, well, when I'm working, he goes, I prefer it if people just pay by no matter what means, as long as they pay. He said, but, he goes, for safety reasons, especially of an evening, I prefer it when people pay by card, because if I do get robbed, he goes, it's never happened yet in 10 years. He goes, but if I do, then it's a lot safer for me to carry sort of, you know, the card receipts around than it is cash. He goes, but, he said, the other side of it, his brother owns a little shop the other side of Bournemouth, like little newsagents come grocers, and he said it's cheaper for him to bank a week's take-ins in cash than it is to pay a week's take-ins in card fees. He goes, so he prefers taking cash purely on an economic basis. So there's that way of looking at it. Is it better for businesses either way? Do you own a business? What do you think? What's better for you, for your business? Comments down below. Right, let's go and carry on my search for this chocolate. still with me, that was a bit of a mission. Wow, good place to come, Castlepoint, if you want a chopping board. Plenty of choice. Quick shop review. Asda, loads of choice, but they felt a little bit flimsy, a little bit thin. I wanted one a bit chunkier, a bit darker. Didn't like any of them. Then where did I go after Asda? Went in Robert Dias. Didn't like any of them in there. They were all thin, very expensive compared to Asda and all that. Then we went into TK Maxx. Great choice. They had literally dozens, if not hundreds, of different chopping boards from literally all over the world. There was ones made in Thailand of this wood, and ones made in the Philippines of that wood, ones made in the Amazon of another wood. There was plastic ones, metal ones. There was literally dozens. By far the best choice. And then finally went into Sainsbury's. Argos, most of them weren't in stock on the screen. And Sainsbury's itself, I did like that big Habitat one, that big butcher's block. That was nice and chunky and heavy, and it was only 20 quid. I nearly went for that. However, I'll show you what I did get. Now, it's quite heavy, so I've had to rest it on my passenger seat. But I went for this, just to give you an idea of scale. That's my hand, so it's quite a size. It's taken up the whole passenger seat. And it's this, it's handmade in Thailand, the Acacia collection. There we go, check it out. Food safe product, not dishwasher safe. Well, I don't put them in the dishwasher anyway. And it was $16.99, bargain. The reason I picked this one, I like the aesthetic look of it. It's nice and chunky. And it's got like little legs underneath, which I think is pretty decent. And it's a fair few kilo. That's a good 4 or 5 kilo. It's a bit of a chunky piece, that. So I quite like that. I'm pleased with that purchase. And I think it'll look nice in my kitchen. Put my tag round. There you go. You can have one last look at it. The chopping board. Beautiful. Made me day. And I can't wait to get home to use it. I'll make Saf something nice for a tea tonight. Yeah, using the new chopping board. It'll look nice in the kitchen. I might even show you the picture later. Okay, so the big question that you're all waiting for me to answer is, how did I pay for it? Well, I'll tell you. I paid cash. Purely because in my wallet I've got two £20 notes. I made a purchase at the weekend that I had to use cash for, and it wasn't as expensive as I thought it was going to be. So I had £40 burning a hole. So I've used one of the £20 notes. It was $16.99. I've got £3 and a penny down here somewhere, which I'll use for the car wash or whatever, keep it in the car. And yeah, I use cash, but normally, I've got to be honest, I'd normally pay by card or Apple Pay, whichever, for purchases like that. The only time I tend to use cash these days, and I'll be honest, and don't judge, it's if I'm on a night out and I'm drinking, purely because I know how much I take out with me and how much I've spent, right? We've all been there when you've had a few drinks, yeah, get a bit naughty and you spend more than you really should, especially if you're using card or your Apple Pay or Google Pay or whatever, because then you're not paying with real money, are you? You're drunk, it doesn't matter. Whereas if you've only got a tenner left in your pocket, you know it's time to go home. So on a night out, I tend to use cash. But any other time, purely for convenience, I don't get chance or inclination to go to a Cashpoint ATM. I just pay everything by card. I could keep track of it then as well on my statements. But that's me. What do you use? Tell me your preferences down below. What do you use and why? Okay. I'm not, as I said, don't do your conspiracy theories. Oh, the government are trying to keep tabs on us. They want us to use cards, getting rid of cash. That's not the debate. The debate is I just want to know what you use and why. And yeah, give me your reasons, because I saw that article and I thought, oh, I wonder what the consensus is. So there you go. Right, listen, thanks for watching. I've got to run and get Saf now. It's school run time. I'm going to pick her up, take her home, do her something nice on the new chopping board. Listen, if you're new to the channel, like I said earlier, don't forget to subscribe. It's free to subscribe, and hit the thumbs up as well. That'll knock the video out there on YouTube. It makes YouTube like it and all that malarkey. And there's a little bell you can push as well, which will tell you when I'm putting up another video. Speaking of which, I've got loads coming up. There's trips, London, we're going to Paris. I've got Tenerife coming up as well. I'm doing a big dare this weekend. I hate heights. I'm going to try another height thing this weekend. That'll be vlogged. And don't forget as well, a big one, every Tuesday, 8 o'clock in the evening, UK time, we do a live, an hour and a half or so, just chat and banter. There's 3,500 subscribers. I normally get about 50 or 60 turning up for the live. Come along on a Tuesday night because there's nothing on telly. Come and join in the chat or just sit in the background and watch the comments. It's a bit of a laugh and everybody's welcome. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Not my normal type of video, but I hope you enjoyed it. I just thought we'd get a bit of a debate and a conversation rolling. And as I say, hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to go and get Saf. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Bye for now.